Hey guys, and welcome to my February wrap-up of 2015. So the month of February has not been good to me, weather-wise, school-wise, reading-wise. The only thing that February was good to me was book buying-wise. Like, I did not buy a single book in February, so thank you very much. So in February, I read a total of 7 books and half of an 8th book. I could not read more because I just had so much schoolwork and I had some health issues that I had to deal with, and it was just a compilation of so many things. But 7.5 books is a pretty good number, and I am happy with the number of books that I've read. Disclaimer, this is the second time I filmed this because the first time that I did, I deleted the videos by accident. I spent 3 hours trying to do some data recovery, and I did, but the files were corrupt. Point is, I've done this before, so if I seem like I'm rehearsed, it's because I've filmed this before. But let's get started. In February, I managed to read the sequel to Veronica Mars's The $1,000 Tan Line, and this is Mr. Kiss and Tell. As I mentioned, this is the sequel to the Veronica Mars book series, which actually starts from the ending of the Veronica Mars movie, and I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. There's a lot of Logan, which I truly loved, and I just really liked the whole spin-off thing. It just makes me, you know, it keeps the characters alive, and I just really appreciate that. So I'm not really sure if there's going to be any more books because nothing is shown on Goodreads or announced, but I'm crossing my fingers that it will continue. The next book that I read is Better Than Perfect by Melissa Cantor. This is a standalone contemporary, and this is technically the sophomore novel after Maybe One Day that she wrote last year, which I own but have not read. Better Than Perfect is about a girl who, if you look from the outside, thinks she has the perfect life, and that's what she thinks too, but certain things happen and she starts, you know, doubting whether she really is on the path that she wanted, and if it's not just what is expected of her. She's like an A student, Harvard route, a perfect boyfriend, all that stuff, and then I'm like, cool, fine, you know, question life, do all that stuff, cool, and then the cheating happens, and I'm like, no, that's when I back away and don't agree with anything that you just did, because I hate cheating in my books. If something in real life I actually condone, why would I be okay with reading about it and being happy for the character? It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, who justifies cheating? I did not like it, and yes, a part of my rating is because of the cheating, but also I felt that there wasn't enough, not substance, but there wasn't something so substantial that could carry the whole plot. I thought it was a bit weak, and there are not that many, you know, strong points and plot scenarios that really kept the plot going. I don't know, it was just okay, and it's like, what, 320 pages? That's a lot for a book where I pretty much summarized everything that happened. But I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars because it was still an okay contemporary. An example of a not okay book is A Great and Terrible Beauty, and I'm sorry to say, but for me it is terrible. I had a really bad experience reading this book. I know it's a very well loved series, like the Gemma Doyle trilogy, everyone loves it, books increase in size per every sequel, and I was hoping I'll love it. I have been wanting to read this for 2 years, and when I finally decided, because the GTA girls picked this for the book club pick for February, I was like, yes, I can finally read this. I've had it on my shelf for over a year and a half. And I was so disappointed. I felt this was very immature in terms of the plot and the way the whole pacing of the book and the characters, their motives. It was very middle grade-ish, not to say that middle grade equals immature, but the characters acted like middle grade characters, which is okay. I'm totally for that, but they're not middle grade people, you know what I mean? They're not from middle school, they're 16, 17-year-old girls back in the 1800s. They should be acting even more mature than current 17-year-olds. But I just wasn't a big fan of this. I wasn't a big fan of the whole fantasy plot. The boarding school setting was just a gimmick. Like, there was literally no point in the boarding school setting. And I wasn't a fan. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars because I did not hate it, but I did not like it. This is Bunheads by Sophie Flack, another book that I gave 3 stars. So far, the only 4-star book was Veronica Mars. I did not have such a great reading month, to be honest. But Bunheads is a ballet, ballet themed novel, contemporary novel, and I love anything to do with ballet, whether it's movies, shows, or books, except for the Bunheads show. I thought that was really lame. But I was expecting this to be really good and like a lot of ballet, and I did get that. I got a lot of like the actual technical ballet stuff, which I know nothing about. It's just really fascinating to me. But I hated the actual complication in the whole book, and I hated the way it was resolved. So that's why I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Trouble by Non Pratt. And I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one, and it deals with teen pregnancy, but the main protagonist, Hannah, is not so innocent. Like, when I wanted to pick this book up and I read the synopsis, I actually thought Hannah was like with her longtime boyfriend, and then she ends up getting pregnant, but then he ditches her, and then she, starts being friends with Aaron, who's the new kid in school. But in fact, like, Hannah she's the opposite of innocent, and that was really surprising to me, but at the same time it was very original and different, because not only innocent girls get pregnant, and not only innocent girls' stories are important for us to read. So that's what I really enjoyed about this one, and I really love the friendship between Hannah and Aaron. And this is written by a British author, which I love. I feel like British authors have this thing that makes their books so different than American authors. I don't know, but this was really good. Oh yeah, another book that I read is a new adult book that I got from Marina, and it is Whatever Life Throws at You by Julie Cross. This is an AA book that centers around the theme of baseball. I love sports themed books, especially contemporaries, and baseball is something, or a sport, I've always wanted to go watch live, but I never had the chance, which is really surprising. I'm hoping I'll be able to do that this summer. Just have to drag someone though. And I really liked it. I buddy read this with my friend back in Dubai, Bana, and we read it in a single night. Could not stop reading it. Every chapter there'd be like 1,000 exclamation marks and like hearts and heartbreaking hearts and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. So that, along with Trouble, were my favorite books for the month of February. Now on to the last 2 books. Before the last is Into the Darkest Corner by Elizabeth Haynes. This book is gorgeous in every aspect. Like, do you see this? I am in love with this book. Did not know this existed until I actually wanted to read it. This is to fulfill my craving for mystery thrillers for the time being. I'm just so into mystery thrillers, specifically adult mystery thrillers. After reading Gone Girl and The Girl on the Train, I picked this one up and it was fantastic. It's not as twisty and like mysterious, like there's not a big reveal as for Gone Girl and The Girl on the Train, but still it was super creepy. And there are 2 parallel worlds or timelines, one in 2003 before the incident and one 2007 after the incident, and you really get to see the character and the consequences of whatever happened to her, and all the psychological ramifications of her situation and what she went through after in 2007. And she has OCD, she has anxiety, she has PTSD, just so many things. And then you see her in 2003 when she's like, oh, typical girl in her early 20s, partying all the time, going out with random strangers, going home with random strangers. And it was very eerie-like and very gritty and just fantastic. So, but I gave this 4 out of 5 stars because I felt it was a bit too big. Like, the book was too long for what it was covering. Still, 4 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend this to mystery thriller fans. And the last book that I was halfway through by the end of February is I'll Meet You There by Heather Demetrios. This is another contemporary that has been going around and making its round towards bloggers, like before it came out. Like every single blogger is in love with it. There's Jamie, there's Brittany, and then there's Marina, who's a booktuber, and there's just so many people. Like I've been hearing so much buzz about this in the blogger world, so I decided to request it, even though it already came out. But Raincoast had extra copies, and they were like, whoever wants some. So I picked it up, and it talks about this guy who was in Afghanistan during the war, and then he comes back, and he actually comes back as an amputee. He lost his leg, one of his legs. And then there's the main protagonist, Skylar, and she lives in this, you know, tiny town that she just wants to leave. She lives in a trailer with her mother, who couldn't care less, and like she drinks and smokes and doesn't work, and Skylar has a full scholarship to this university, but she doesn't know whether she should leave or not. And then she strikes up a friendship with the guy who came back, and it's good. It's 400 pages though. I feel like another case of a book being way too long. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, but I did not full on love it like I expected, especially after all the buzz and hype of all the bright places and then me reading it and falling in love with it. But still, a very solid contemporary, and I definitely recommend it to contemporary fans. So these are all the books that I read in February. Let me know which books actually piqued your interest that you haven't read, and let me know your favorite book that you've read in February, just to see if I have it on my own bookshelf and maybe bump it up my TBR. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and see you next time. Bye!